Naruto in Akatsuki is one of the strongest Naruto, but who is he and what is he capable of? Enjoy watching. Naruto in Akatsuki. On the internet, you might have already seen the animation of this Naruto. This idea is not new, and a lot of fans have drawn Naruto and other characters dressed as Akatsuki, and besides my animation, there are others that can be found on YouTube. I am a big fan of all Naruto and Boruto anime, and I, like many, wanted to see Naruto in a different role, his design to be a little different, the fate was different, I wanted him to have new abilities, and I was so carried away by this that I created several arts and then animation. I don't want to infringe anime and manga copyrights in any way, I'm just a big fan who wants to share my character designs. This Naruto differs from the original in that, as a child, he left the village and then, over time, joined the Akatsuki organization. And in this video, I want to show you some of the character designs that are in my story Naruto in Akatsuki. This story has, so to speak, 2 seasons. The first is from 12 years old Naruto until he grows up and achieves his goal until the 16th birthday. And the second season is where all the characters have already grown up and the whole story revolves around Boruto. Let's start with the first villain in the first part. This character, because of which little Naruto had to leave the village, is Ikari Kamachi. About the design of all characters, write in the comments what you think. Kamachi is a very strong shinobi, able to control people's emotions. He can inspire a person with feelings that will seem to him his own, and because of this, people behave very strangely. Hatred arises in their heart and they are ready to destroy the enemy. Thanks to this power, Ikari controlled people. The second character is Himitsu. I would like to tell you a lot of things about him, but you may want to know the whole story of Naruto in Akatsuki yourself, and I will post my fanfic in text form. Let me know, therefore, I will tell you briefly. Himitsu took his place in the 7th team, along with Sakura and Sasuke. His relationship with Uchiha was very strained, as he disliked his clan due to what happened to his great-grandfather. This character is incredibly strong, and in the future will only become stronger. Here he is 12 years old, but, like all other characters, he grew up and changed in appearance. At 16, he looked like this, and this is already a design from the second season. It sounds strange, season, it is better to say from the second part of my fan story. Also, there are Naruto's friends who guided him in the battle against a main villain of the first part, and this is the first Uzumaki, Izao, who has the true eyes of this clan. These eyes were supposed to be Indra's, since that's the eye design he had in the manga. On this basis, I gave him these eyes. The first Uzumaki is the founder of the Uzumaki clan. He wields thousands of sealing techniques, and out of hatred for Indra that his mother had disappeared, he decided to invoke the god of death to seal Indra's soul. However, he did not succeed, and Shinigami instead wanted to take his soul for using his power. But, at that time, Izao was still young, so he got scared and sealed the god of death inside his body, because of which he sometimes became insane. After that, he decided to go on a journey to get to know himself. Ultimately, on one of his travels, he met a character who became his best friend and worst enemy. It was Akuma. Akuma was an ordinary person. He began to travel with Izao, although he was against it. However, Akuma felt it was his duty to help his friend control his temper tantrums. Uzumaki was furious, but thanks to traveling with a new comrade, he still tried to control himself, and he succeeded. However, in one of their battles with opponents, Akuma died, and Izao decided to use the body of his friend in order to get rid of the god of death inside him, which had been tormenting him all this time. Therefore, he took out a Shinigami from himself and sealed him in his dead friend's body. But it turned out that Akuma was not completely dead, and the seal failed, uniting the soul of Akuma and the god of death together. Because of what a new creature turned out a half-god, a half-man, and, to be more precise, Akuma became a demon, not the god of death, and not a man. His memory was completely erased. He had no memory of traveling with Izao, but the death god's hatred for Uzumaki that had sealed him within him remained, and Akuma began to hate his friend terribly, without even understanding why. But there was another problem with them, and that is they both became immortal. While the god of death was sealed within Izao, he was eating his soul. And when Uzumaki tried to seal him already in the body of his friend, the god of death tore out another part of his soul, which allowed Akuma himself to receive some of Izao's abilities. However, Akuma's soul was damaged due to the union with the god of death and became defective, because of which, these two became outcasts from the soul world, and death could not take them due to the fact that they were already considered dead, due to which they became immortal and began a 1,000-year enmity against each other. They eventually met Naruto and joined the Akatsuki organization for their own purposes. And we smoothly move on to the main villain of the first part, to Sayashono Uchiha, to the son of Indra. He was the first to receive the surname Uchiha. It was from his genes that all of them came from. This character is incredibly strong. He is the only one born with an activated Sharingan, which is also unusual. Indra was obsessed with his father's powers and was eventually able to awaken Rinnegan. He performed trials on his pregnant wife and immersed his child in Genjutsu while still in the womb to see if his Sharingan would awaken. Through the power of Hagoromo, Indra was able to replace the DNA of his not yet born son, and he awakened a unique Sharingan that was able to create Uchiha genes that would have the Sharingan in any child not yet born. Indra wanted to create his own clan and do it quickly. Therefore, after the birth of Sayashono, he was named the first, which translates as Sayashono. This character has another ability. With his eyes, he can give an Uchiha any technique Sayashono can think of, or he can take that gene out of a human entirely, and he would never be able to awaken Sharingan again. As a result, Sayashono became crazier than his father and created a Uchiha clan for himself. They were incredibly strong, and they were all born with an awakened Sharingan at once. They did not have defects in the form of blindness with frequent use of the Mangekyo. However, this defect appeared after Sayashono's beloved betrayed him and, together with her clansmen, decided to seal him in another dimension. Offended by the betrayal, the first Uchiha erased all memories about himself and took half the power from all Uchiha, even those not yet born. He filled them with hatred, saying that if they want more power for themselves, they will have to take the eyes of their relatives. Ultimately, Sayashono returned and became the villain of the first part of my fan story, and we smoothly move on to the characters of the second part. I will tell you less about them, but I assure you, they are also very interesting and have their own story. Karasu Uchiha is one of the members of the Akatsuki organization and possesses Shisui's eye, Akima's chakra, who I already mentioned, and Izao's eye, who I also mentioned, Uchiha Sasuke. He has a new design since he gained new power in the first part. Incredibly strong character. His relationship with Himitsu has improved and they become very good friends and partners and travel the world together. Tetsuya Hyuga is Boruto's twin brother, but he was born with the Otsutsuki gene, which causes him to have problems with chakra, or rather a disease that destroys his body and his very chakra. Saiga Uzumaki is the Supreme Kage you saw in the animation part at the beginning of the video. He assumed the title of Supreme after an incident where Naruto had to disappear. This character is incredibly powerful. He is so strong that no blow can move him, except for Naruto's punches and someone else. The Rain Village Anbu, with their leader Uzumaki Akagi, and the Anbu of the Grass Village, with their and the Grass Village leader, Kusakagi-san. Also, the previous head of Grass Village, Kusakagi-ro. Seichi is Boruto and Tetsuya's bodyguard assigned by Naruto. This character has a very interesting story because he hides his true identity, which is very powerful, and you could already see it in some of my animations. He's able to manipulate chakra, change the shape of other people's techniques, as well as redirect them. We can talk about his alter ego later. Also, Itachi is alive in my story, in the second part. He looks like this, and he is Hakagi's deputy, and Hakagi is Kakashi, who wears clothes similar to Otsutsuki. He once fought against Momoshiki. And finally, Otsutsuki. There are many of them in the story, about all of them. If you start talking, then the video will drag on very long. Therefore, I would like to know your opinion on what I have told you. Would you like to know more? Did you like the character designs? This is just a fan story. All these characters are made up by me, since I am a big fan of Naruto anime and manga. If you liked what you saw and heard, write about it in the comments, and maybe I'll post my story somewhere for you to read. If you need arts that you saw in the video, also write about it. Perhaps I will create Instagram or Patreon, since it takes a long time to create something, and there you can support me and have an exclusive from me. Good luck to all.